Coffee is a beloved drink around the world, giving us a daily fix.
But you may wonder what's going on with wholesale coffee prices.
Arabica coffee prices more than doubled in 1 year. That's unheard of. The previous all-time high for Arabica dates back to 1977 at $3 per pound. That record just fell.
In this video, let's understand what's behind this astronomical rise, and will high coffee prices persist into the future? To understand this price hike is to understand coffee and its cultivation process.
Coffee plant origin traces back to Africa. There is a legend of coffee discovery in Ethiopia from the 9th century. The story goes like this. There's a guy called Kaldi, right? Who was a goat herder back then. One day Kaldi notices that his goats acting strangely after eating berries off a tree. Our brave Kaldi decides to give these berries a try and experiences an unheard of energy boost.
And that's how humans discovered a potent drug sold over the counter worldwide.
Coffee beans are seed pits of cherry-like fruit grown on shrubs or trees called coffea. So yeah, coffee is a fruit seed juice. The cherries have a resemblance to grapes. After flowering for 3 to 4 weeks, it takes several months for coffee cherries to mature. As they mature, their color shifts from pink, red, purple and then to black. All in all, coffee farmers must wait about 5 to 6 months for harvest to be ready. But it could be longer with certain coffee varieties, up to 9 months. Waiting till coffee fruit turns black is a bad idea. Farmers usually focus on harvesting dark red fruit as the chances of rot are minimal.
It takes about 3 to 5 years for a coffee tree to mature and start producing fruit. It's not unheard of for a coffee plant to produce and yield crops for 30 or more years. Although after 20 or 30 years, the productivity of a tree starts to decline. The majority of regions around the world have just one harvest per year, but if there's no dry season, then 2 harvests are possible. For example, Colombia is known for its 2 harvests annually.
Coffee trees are demanding. To cultivate high-quality coffee, you need a tropical or subtropical climate. The temperature must be consistent at 64 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. On top of it, the tree requires ample rainfall and rich, well-drained soil. Most often, coffee thrives in tropics around areas with soil of volcanic origin. The largest producer of coffee in the world is Brazil, accounting for 38% of global production. Vietnam is distant second with a 17% market share. The top 5 countries account for about 73% of coffee production. Arabica and Robusta bean varieties dominate the global coffee market. Arabica originated from Ethiopia and accounts for 60% or sometimes more of total production. Arabica is most popular since it's not bitter with a mild aromatic flavor. Conversely, Robusta beans come second with 20% market share or so. Robusta originated from sub-Saharan Africa and has a distinct bitter, woody flavor. And of course, Robusta has way more caffeine than Arabica, sometimes 2 times more. For this reason, Arabica is preferred choice among consumers. At the same time, roasters use Robusta in instant coffee blends and espresso.
Unfortunately, the Arabica coffee plant is more demanding to grow compared to Robusta when it comes to climate. Also, Arabica plants are less resistant to diseases. For this reason, Arabica coffee is more expensive compared to Robusta, sometimes 40 to 50% more.
The other popular coffee bean varieties are Excelsa and Liberica. Both have naturally lower caffeine compared to Arabica and Robusta. Excelsa is not bitter with a tart and fruity flavor. Liberica has an unusual woody and somewhat smoky flavor. Based on common opinion, Liberica and Excelsa flavor profiles tend to be divisive. You either love them or hate them. Conversely, an average consumer enjoys Arabica with its mild flavor. So it's no wonder Arabica is so popular around the world. When it comes to total coffee consumption, the United States and Brazil top the list. The other notable countries are Japan, Philippines and China. But when it comes to per capita consumption, Scandinavian countries rule them all. Among them are Finland, Sweden and Norway. Over the last several years, coffee production did not keep up with demand. As many developing countries got wealthier, they also developed a taste for coffee. For this reason, the global stockpiles of coffee were on decline over the past 4 to 5 years.
But lately there was a shock to coffee production in Brazil and Vietnam. There was a massive drought that damaged crops there and reduced coffee harvest as a result. The temperatures have been above average with little rainfall, and coffee flower buds got zero chance to blossom and died off as a result. What's happening now is somewhat different compared to the last coffee crisis of 1970s. Back then, there was a severe frost that decimated almost 70% of all coffee trees in Brazil. And as we saw, few countries account for a large chunk of coffee production, so anything bad happening there will inevitably lead to price spikes. Consumers are just at the beginning stages of feeling the pinch. It's a question of when, not if, for retail prices to go up.
The United Nations went through an analysis on this. Their estimates suggest that 1% increase in wholesale coffee price leads to 0.2 to 0.24% increase in retail price. There's also a lag of about a year and a half though. The wholesale price for Arabica is almost 100% up. We can reasonably expect retail prices at coffee shops and supermarkets to go up by 20 to 25% in a year.
Make no mistake, the gap between retail prices and wholesale prices is quite wide, in the realm of 50 to 70%. For how long this difference can persist into the future? Many analysts agree that the retail price shocks for coffee are coming.
According to Bloomberg, in December retail coffee prices jumped by 6.6% in the US. But a more severe coffee shortage is about to unfold. Many coffee roasters are at the beginning stages of passing through higher costs. Last year, UK Pre-a-Manger cafe chain scrapped its free coffee subscription plan. Higher commodity cost is of course to blame. Also take J.M. Smucker. It is a producer of coffee brands like Folgers, Cafe Bustelo and Dunkin'. Smucker lately announced price hikes coming in as early as June of 2025. Nestle is countering coffee inflation by making its coffee packs smaller. That's inevitable given that coffee beans represent around 70% of roasters' costs. Some retail supermarket chains are pushing back against higher prices from wholesalers. As a result, shortages unfolded. For instance, European consumers were greeted with empty coffee shelves. Among them are German supermarkets Aldi Nord and Edeka. For now, supermarket chains are trying to bargain hard for lower prices, but there's very little chance for them to succeed.
As these negotiations wound up, more price hikes are coming in retail. As we know, the demand for coffee is inelastic in the words of economists. What that means in layman terms is this: we are too hooked on coffee to give it up or substitute it for something else. Some people wonder if this is a new normal for coffee, meaning will the high prices for coffee persist and remain high into the future, like what's happening now with cacao and chocolate.
In my previous video, I took a deep dive into chocolate production. There, I concluded that chocolate prices will be elevated for the foreseeable future.
The reasons are somewhat complex. Many cacao farmers are old, poor and live in Africa. On top of it, there are some peculiar things that are happening in the cacao market. Namely, certain African governments act like monopolies. And that prevents the invisible hand of a market to take care of this shortage cacao problem.
But what about coffee? The thing is that the coffee market is very different compared to cacao. It's a vibrant industry with many profitable large-scale farming operations. Countries like Brazil, Vietnam and Colombia can produce more if the weather improves.
Current high prices provide all the incentive for that to happen. So short term, maybe retail prices will spike indeed, but long term, it's very unlikely that coffee will remain pricey. In conclusion, stocking up on your favorite brands of coffee may make sense today, but maybe there is no need to hoard it. The market will take care of this problem in a year or two. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more insightful content on economic topics in the future. I will see you next time and all the best!